ओ किमें तोड़ दूं कोई तेरा मेरा प्यार नहीं, मूरे जट खाड़कू खड़ा। ओ किमें तोड़ दूं कोई तेरा मेरा प्यार नहीं, मूरे जट खाड़कू खड़ा।
The album Back to Basics, how it started was there wasn't actually an album. What happened was Chaos Productions, Amo and Lucky Hair, they're best mates with Diljit's brother-in-law, Hami, from Derby. So his sister lives in Derby, Diljit's, which I had no idea of until Amo mentioned it. And it's weird. I had a message off a fake Diljit account a couple of years ago on Facebook, saying, "Oh, please give me your number. I need to speak to you about some work." And it was then I mentioned it to Amo, saying, "Is this a fake account?" Which it was. But then coincidentally, Diljit had contacted Hami, his brother-in-law, and said, "Your mate's Chaos, Tru-Skool's their mate. Can you get me his number? And because I want to do a track with him." So Amo gave me the message saying Diljit wants to do a track, and I don't really do the odd track here and there for anybody really. So it was like I was saying I don't really do that, and then I thought I was aware of Diljit with the Lac 28 song, so which I wasn't a huge fan of, for being honest. I was in India when it came out, so I was intrigued, like, why does somebody who make that type of music, which is how I perceived it, it's not like what I do, so I was like, how come he wants to do a track with me? So I was like, well, this is the price. Let me speak to him at least, and let's see if we sort of connect on a level. So eventually I got a call from Diljit, and you know, because I had my perception of him, I bet he's this type of character, that type of, you know, being judgmental as we can be, but yeah, he's seemed like a pretty decent geezer on the phone. And when we were chatting, it was more like, okay, so I go, this is how much it is for a track, but I'm really busy at the moment, and I just wanted to see if we could connect. He's like, yeah, anyway, so how much for the whole album? I'm like, album? I don't think so. And he's like, no, what it is, because look, I'm doing my album. And I was like, yeah, but aren't you going to get various producers on there? And he's like, no, I don't do that. I've never done that before. I don't want to do that, because obviously he's a Punjab artist, and as you know from his back catalogue, he's not, all his solo albums have been with one producer, as most artists over there do. It's not the same as the UK. So I was like, look, I haven't got time. And then so the conversation was like, come on, think about it, that type of thing. And I said, I'm sorry, I don't think I can do it. But he goes, have a think about it, actually. So I think it was the second time it only rang. I was like, seriously, mate, I really haven't got the time, which I didn't have the time. And one of the main reasons was I just felt like what Diljit has done in the past is not really in line with what I do. You know, my friends, my wife, and close people were like, you should do it, because Diljit, and I was aware that Diljit was a popular artist in Punjab. So, but even then I was like, well, it's not about that. It's got to be about, musically, do we connect? And it was when he said to me, the third conversation actually, was when he said, I really loved Chakkadenage, the track that I did for Garbage Barar. That's one of the best tracks I've ever made. That track is who I am and what I'm about, you know, in terms of the way they see Bhangra, Punjabi music is fused with the hip hop, is the way that I put that together. It was really an expression, and you know, of who I am and what I'm about. So when he said, I love that track, I was like, you know what, this guy's all right. So he was like, yeah, I like you, you're on a level. So, and that seriously is the truth. When he said he liked that track, I thought me and him can get on, because he said, I I like your music. I've seen your, I've been aware of you for a while, your other songs, and I want this. This is what I want. So he didn't want me to cater something for him. It was, I want the Tru-Skool sound. I want Tru-Skool's music. And I thought, so from there I was like, okay, let's. You're gonna have to come down England, because I don't do the whole. I work in this. I sit down with the artist. We compose. I compose the music. I compose the melodies. Go through the lyrics. I don't do this whole internet thing. You have to come here. And he's like, yeah, I love that, because that's what he also believed that's the way things should be done. So he booked his ticket, and he came down and stayed here for 3 weeks, a month actually, in April, and so that was that.
Set it off one side.
As I mentioned earlier, we had arranged for DILJIT to come here in April. I mean, I had a lot going off at that time. We had busy with family stuff. It was Baisakhi. I had a song out on an album, Immortal, Shahidi, which was, yeah, he was here. I had a lot going on during that time. So what was the craziest thing about it was DILJIT's sister lives literally down the road. I'm talking literally like 3-minute walk, 2-minute walk, and we live in an English area. So it was funny how I live here and JK lives there, and DILJIT DOSANJH's sister lived down there. It was just really weird. So so he rang me late Sunday evening. He goes, I'm here. He was with his brother-in-law Hami, and I got Ada. So he came down, and he was like, I can't believe where your house is. It's like it's there. It's like 30 seconds in a car. And I was like, yeah. I was like, it's kind of, that was, I found that kind of, you know, it was like maybe it was meant to be kind of thing. Like, you know, it was really coincidental, because where, like, as I've mentioned, there's no Asians in this area, so that was kind of mad. And then okay, and that was just a quick thing. He was like, he was going to be staying at his sister's house. So what he said was, have you got a harmonium? I'll take that, and so I can practice at home. Little did we know that he was not going to get a chance to practice at home, because he was going to be here from the morning till night. So during that time, he came back in the morning, 9 o'clock start, and that was just, I found that crazy, because he walked it here. So he's like, well, this is like, I can just walk to your house. So it's weird. Like I said, there's no Asians walking around this area as it is. But then I seen like 28 DILJIT DOSANJH with a rucksack on, walking around our area. That was mad. And it was like, yeah, knocked on the door, come in. First things first was, okay, let's do a proper introduction. Let's see what you're about, and I'll tell you what I'm about. And you know, I always do that with any artist. Is I like to sort of make a connection with the artist, and see, so that we're on the same page, so we know where we're going. Yeah, if I can remember, yeah, we didn't spend any time talking about the songs yet. It was more about, because I didn't know that much about him. All I knew is he did the song Lac 28, because I was there. And I mean, I told him what my thoughts were. I told him I wasn't a fan of that song, and I also there was a few other things that maybe he didn't want to bring up, but I did bring up. Yeah, I didn't realise, you know, he'd done some big songs like Nachadiyan Alara Kuwariyan. I was like, that's such a massive track. I was like, and that's a track where I thought he vocally sounded really good on there, as he does on other tracks. But I always know, I never knew who sang that song. I always thought, this guy's a good singer who sang this. There's another track, famous track he did, Daka Dhani Maria, and there's one, Paggala Geet he did, you know, so I knew who he was. And there was a few other tracks, I can't remember the names, that I'd heard. I was like, okay, I knew how popular he was in India though, so I was like, okay, I thought, okay, I know a bit about your background, who he's worked with, what type of songs he's done previously, and then so I know which way he wants to go now. But it was very clear that he goes, look, Paji, I want the Tru-Skool thing. So I was like, okay. And as we were getting to know each other, and you know, like I said, there was a few things where, you know, DILJIT had there was a bit of controversy surrounding him regarding things, and we even discussed those things as well I wanted to really know him on a personal level, because I find if I can connect with the artist, I can do a better job, because I feel like, yeah, you know, this guy's a good human being. I want to do a good job for this person. So when we eventually did get to the songs, what material he had, I think there was a good 14, 15 songs, and he had initially had made his own compositions, and but from there I was like, okay, I gave my opinion on what I thought. Lyrically, I was like, look, as long as the lyrics are not going to be controversial or anything, you know, that's your department. You make sure you're happy with the lyrics, and you know that the audience will receive the lyrics well. I was like, that's your department. You do that. And I was just concerned about what the melody should be. So I liked some of them, and some of them I thought I could change and maybe improve. So once we had, I think we spent a day or two just chilling out like that, just talking. So when we eventually did start, that's when we really got down to work. Okay, going to the track selection now. Okay, I remember him. I think he sang Band Bortele first, and I was like, okay, straight away it was like, this is the chorus was not the type of chorus hook line, melody wise, something that I've ever had before. So straight away I was like, oh, I'm not sure, but the verse was a typical what I would have. So I was like, are you sure about this? You know, he goes, it's going to be a beat song, door type song, and I was like, oh, but maybe we can make a different one. So I was throwing my thoughts in, and he was saying that he really wants this song the way it is. So I was like, so we always spoke about everything, and the wicked thing about DILJIT, working with him was he's very compromising, and but he was very adamant that he wanted that to be the way it was. I was like, okay, if you feel strong about that, then we'll do it that way. And because I always want the artist to be happy. So that was one composition that I obviously I recorded and made sure he sang it to his best ability, but I didn't mess about with the composition. So full credit to DILJIT, he made a very good composition with Band Bortele.
बंद बोतले शराब दिए, बंद बोतले शराब दिए, हम पर्दा ना दिल चंदरा, हाय नी परिये शबाब दिए, बंद बोतले शराब दिए, बंद बोतले शराब दिए.
In terms of, you're talking about song selection, it's not just about the lyrics, because I like to visualize the music, like not visualize it, I need to hear it in my head. So I was like, some of the songs he was saying there needs to be a couple of dance type of tracks on there due to his fans, even though this was going to be a very traditional album. I mean, the album name Back to Basics wasn't even born by this time, so he knew that he wanted it to be a very traditional album. So he goes, however, I've got to have a couple of dance tracks and a couple of R&B tracks. So, and I was like, well, let me hear what they're going to be like. And then one of them was Bodi Raat, and there was another one, and there was going to be these two dance type tracks. So I had arranged with DILJIT beforehand that that's not something I want to be associated with, that type of music, R&B, dance. You know, it's something that I chose not to be part of. So what I suggested was a lad called TL, who's been in my team since 2005, right the way from Represent. You know, I've been training him up on the engineering. He's been through everything with me when it comes to making music, as in he's seen how a song is made right from the beginning to the end, right, as in the whole process when you go to mastering, the whole what psychologically, mentally, what a person physically, what the producer goes through. So he's been under my wing ever since 2005, but he's I never let him make Bhangra. I go, look, you learn what engineering is. This is what I want you to learn this. I want you to specialize in this, and specialize in making R&B music, pop music, you know, Western music, which is what he does, and he's got a lot going off on that side. So it was never planned for him to get involved in Bhangra, although he works with me as an engineer. When I'm recording my instruments, he'll mic everything, does all the acoustics. So Taj is a very big part of my team, TL, So this was going to be his debut track because I did say to Diljit, if you need to have them songs on there, it's got to be an in-house thing. It's got to be someone from our team who's doing it. So he heard Taj's music. He was very impressed. So the song Bodi Raat was done by TL. Obviously I supervised it to a certain degree. Recorded the vocal, made sure Diljit's vocals were on point. But you know, full credit to TL. He did a very, very good job on that song.
ਦੀ ਰਾਤ ਚੰਦਰੀਏ ਸ਼ੌਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੂੰ ਭੁੱਲ ਗਈ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਚੁੰਮ ਚੁੰਮ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਹਿੱਕ ਨਾਲ ਲਾਉਂਦਾ ਏ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਲਾਲ ਪਰਾਂਦਾ ਸੁੱਟ ਗਈ ਸੀ ਤੂੰ ਅੜ ਕਰਕੇ ਟੰਗਿਆ ਕਿੱਲੀ ਉੱਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਕਹਿਰ ਕਮਾਉਂਦਾ ਏ ਉਹਦੀ ਰਾਤ ਚੰਦਰੀਏ.
The two dance tracks didn't make the album in the end, and the other R&B type one didn't make it. So we lost a few tracks there, and there was meant to be another Desi track that I had done that didn't make it, simply because I made it sort of like, I'm a massive fan of Atul Sharma ji from Punjab. The person who made all of Sajid Bindarike's greatest hits, Dupatta Tera Sat Rang Da, Baskar, you know, Tera Yaar Bolda. I'm gone blank now because it's just a blur, because he's made so many unbelievable songs, and I'm a big fan of his. So I wanted to do one track on that style of music, which we did do. But the problem was it sounded so authentically like that. It actually sounded like it was made in 1994, 93. So Diljit was like, sonically, it didn't kind of fit with the rest of the songs, because although I've done folk type of songs and they like Drak and Ranja, they still, because they were more folk style, they kind of fitted the album better than. So that track, although I made a rough version of it, I think I made it in like 3 hours, all the pieces, everything. I played the percussion live, and maybe you might get to hear that one day. That didn't make it in the end. So as I said earlier, when you're doing a track selection, it's not just about lyrics. It's like you've got to know what the album may sound like in the end as well. So yeah, this brings me on to KHARKU. This is another song that Diljit had composed the melody himself. I liked the melody. I was like, yeah, the chorus, full credit, really, really nice melody. What happened with the verse, however, I had to change that because it wasn't really working. So when the verse starts, the melody was changed. So it was a bit of a collaboration, but the overall melody on that was done by Diljit. And again, that was another sort of more of a doll type track. One thing I noticed with Diljit, he was like, I'm not really into rolls and fancy tore and stuff, so can you just keep it sort of more about the beat? I was like saying, but I've got to do a couple, and so that type of thing was going on. But in the end, I'm happy with the result, and that was the song. Interestingly, if I'm being honest, when Diljit came over twice, you see, at the start of the album, then when I'd finished the album, he had come back and he stayed with us for 2 weeks. So when he came back to listen to the finished product, well, near finished product, KHARKU, he was worried about the song. He was like, I don't think this has come out how we wanted it. And so KHARKU almost didn't make it on the album. And he always said that he wanted to lead with that track. So not only was it not going to lead, it was going to not even be on the album. I was like, no, I'll make it off. This will be fixed.
ਓ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਤੋੜ ਦੂ ਕੋਈ ਤੇਰਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਨੀ ਮੂਰੇ ਜੱਟ ਖਾੜਕੂ ਖੜਾ ਓ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਤੋੜ ਦੂ ਕੋਈ ਤੇਰਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਨੀ ਮੂਰੇ ਜੱਟ ਖਾੜਕੂ ਖੜਾ ਓਏ ਹੱਥ ਵਿੱਚ ਫੜੀ ਤਲਵਾਰ ਨੀ ਗੁੱਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੋਹਣੀਏ ਕੜਾ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਤੋੜ ਦੂ ਕੋਈ ਤੇਰਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਨੀ ਮੂਰੇ ਜੱਟ ਖਾੜਕੂ ਖੜਾ
Okay, so the track KHARKU was written by a lyricist called DILJIT, and yeah, instrument wise, I'd played the doll on there, I'd played the chords, the bass, the drum programming, everything, the tumbi. Mandolin was played by my very good friend Amajit HEER from Chaos Productions, and he's always done all the mandolins on my tracks. Although the pieces are composed by me, I'm really impressed with the way Amo will play it exactly the way I want it. And the mandolin piece he played on that track initially was not going to actually be there. It was going to be a harmonium piece was going to be there, but as I was approaching the end of the album, I was like, you know what, I'm going to take that piece out. So I called Amo down. It was really weird. That was done like literally 2 days before the album was handed in. So Amo need a piece here. Sat down on the badja, and I made a couple of pieces up, and that was the one we went for. It's got a bit. It's influenced by an old Punjabi piece, which I don't want to say what, but maybe somebody can guess. So yeah, that was basically. I can't think. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Pavitra Singh Pasla, Sarangi pieces. He played the Sarangi on that track. So they were the 3 people involved, myself, Pavitra and Amo. So there you have it, Jat KHARKU, which I think if we go through the album, track order as well. The track order that you guys see is not the way it's not the order the album was made in. So what I'll explain was, although Drak is the second track on the album, Drak is actually the first vocal that was recorded by Diljit. I remember when he first sang the song to me, and I wasn't a big fan of the melody, so I was like, I want to change this. Tell me what you think. I made it up, and he liked it, and because I thought, let's work with some different rags now, because there's so much material out there that sounded very similar. So I wanted to go for a very Janjit the Hujja, Amar Singh Chamkila type feel. So I made the melody, really completely changed it from what it was, and he liked it. Now, choosing the key that he sang it in is a vital part in the end result, because Diljit on this album he sounds very versatile. I don't think there's a key. I don't think he sang the same key twice on this album. I think he sang, every song's had its own key, which is brilliant. And the song Drak was I think the key that we chose really brought out a different texture to his voice, and he was surprised with the end result, because I remember us recording it. He did a brilliant job, sang it really quickly, and I think 2 days later he wanted to hear what he had recorded, because by then we'd done like another 2 songs as well, and he's like, can I hear what we've done? So when I played him his vocal on Drak, he was shocked. He's like, I'm there. He's like, is that me? He was like really happy as well, and I was so glad, because I did say to Diljit, I'm pretty sure I was confident that I'd be able to get the best result out of his vocals. I actually said to him, I guarantee you I'll make you sound better on this album than you've ever sounded on any of your albums. And immediately he noticed the difference. He was like, is this me? And I was like, yeah, this is you singing live, because it was unedited when I showed it him. He was that happy. He phoned India up, phoned one of his mates up, and he's like, Sonny. And he's like, he had a big grin on his face while he was playing it. He's like, Baji, why is it good? Showing it his mate, and his mate was like, Atunwa, and so he was like, yeah, this is me, and he was really over the moon about that, and and I was like, yeah, this is a good vibe, So musically, I told him what I'm going to do. This is going to be folk, and when I said folk, I don't think he realised how folk. I said it's going to be pure. There's going to be no Western influences on there at all. It's going to be made the way the folk tracks were made in Punjab in the late 70s and early 80s by my idol Janjit the Hujja. So this is a crazy story. Out of all the tracks on the album, this one, I would say the way this track was done was unique. My vocal booth is behind us, right? However, this room here, we don't record in this room. But because I didn't have a lot of time to make this album, because Diljit needed it, because he had a deadline on him as well, So I was literally sitting on the sofa down there. Taj was sitting here. We've got like a cheap £5 mic. I was like, Taj, I go, Taj, just plug the mic in a minute and play the music. So I didn't even have headphones on. And I was like, had a loop going, talkie loop going. And I was like, I had a tumbi on. I was like, just record this. I just played it, sitting there, the music all leaking through the mic. Sitting there, no room acoustics, not mic. I mean, he was holding the mic. He wasn't even on a stand. That tumbi piece ended up making the final cut because I couldn't play it better. And that happened with the harmonium was done in the same way, and so was the mandolin played by Amo HEER. There was a picture that Amo put up on his Instagram and on his Facebook. He gave his camera to Taj, and there was the photograph that was taken. Amo was sitting where the camera was there by the central heating. I was sitting over there with the Wajah, and we were composing the pieces in real time live. I mean, this is true live music. And Taj took a picture of us without telling us. That picture was actually the truth. That was really us making the song in the very moment. That was where we were sitting, the way everything was positioned. He captured that on the camera. It was mad. I mean, you should not be recording like this, you know. And we thought, let's just do it. This is Desi music, you know. God knows how they made it. I just sat there, music leaking through, just played it live. Amo sat there, just played it live, and those pieces ended up making the final cut, which was crazy, you know. I just found that was mad. And the percussion, I played the percussion on the track. That had to be done in the vocal room, and I'd say it's one of the best songs I've ever made in my whole life. So that was struck. Again, I think that was written by DILJIT. So really proud of that track.
Oh, Satya. ਉਹਦਾ ਖਰਚੀਲੀ ਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਖਰਚਾ ਲੱਖਾਂ ਦਾ ਉਹਦਾ ਖਰਚੀਲੀ ਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਖਰਚਾ ਲੱਖਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੁੜੀ ਲੁੱਟ ਪੁੱਟ ਕੇ ਲੈ ਗਈ ਹੋ ਸਾਡਾ ਕੰਮ ਟਰੱਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੁੜੀ ਲੁੱਟ ਪੁੱਟ ਕੇ ਲੈ ਗਈ ਹੋ ਸਾਡਾ ਕੰਮ ਟਰੱਕਾਂ ਦਾ
Next track we'll talk about, I'd say, is Strawberry. That song, we didn't actually have that song. DILJIT never had that song when he came here. That was something that we ended up making a melody. We thought we need this type of melody on the album. So we made that up, sat down, made this melody, and he's like, well, I need to fit a song to this. So he phoned his, I forgot the writer's name, sorry, phoned the writer up and said, I've got this melody, what hook line you got for this? And so the Strawberry one came in. It reminds me, I think he's done a track, I think he might have made a track called Chocolate or something before, which I was like, it's not my kind of thing, but I was like, okay, some people might say it's a bit cheesy or whatever, so I was like, okay, we've got this song, the melody's like this, however the lyrics are like this. So I was like, well, what kind of music am I going to do for this? I'm going to have to make sure the music's got a bit of street cred, so we get a bit of a balance. So that song Strawberry, as I said, that was written literally a couple of days before he left here on his first visit, and the final vocals, he actually had to come back. I actually started work on the album in May. So I made the album in 4 months flat. He came back in August, so in the last 2 weeks of the album, that's when he did the vocals for Strawberry. However, he did a guide before he went, and funnily enough, we ended up using some of the guide vocals in the end because the melody had changed again. So we go, no, let's just stick to what we made first. and the music was going to be on a hip hop vibe first. In the end, I thought, no, let's. I think the album could do with a bit of a reggae vibe. And again, Ammo Hair on the mandolin, massive help in the album. Big massive credit to Ammo. Dumby was done by myself. I think that was mainly all the instruments, and obviously the typical the chords, the bass obviously was done by myself. So yeah, Strawberry was done. Okay, the track Junni on the album, which is my joint favourite with Drak. They're my two favourite songs on the album, Drak and Junni. Junni wasn't actually going to make the album because initially Diljit had composed a melody to a classical dal called Rupak, which is a 7-beat dal. So that was going to be a first, and I was like, I don't think doing it in Rupak, it's not gonna, people ain't gonna be able to relate to it. And I was like, why don't we make it into Garva, which is an 8-beat dal? And also I wanted to make the music. I was gonna make it more like a Punjabi film type kind of music and old school film type music, and he didn't think that was gonna work either. So this track, I had to battle for this track to be on the album because I felt it had potential, because I thought if I changed the melody a bit, bring it into Garva and change the verse, I felt that it could have been a really good song. And he just couldn't see the vision. He was like, I don't get it. So although we compromised on all the songs, he was like, all right, you can have this one, this can be your song, only because you said. I know what it's going to be like. In the end I decided, I'll go, look, I'll do a proper Tru-Skool vibe. I'll give it the hip hop flex. I'll go typical what I usually do. And I was like, you'll like it. He's like, all right, I trust you. If you're saying it's going to be good, do it. So we recorded the vocals. Again, I made him sing in a very low key, and it's refreshing to hear him sound the way he sounded. I mean, even I remember when in our initial meetings, I was like, sing something. I was like, oh, you can actually sing, because I know that sounds patronising. And I was just like, I was like, see, I wasn't aware of how good a singer you actually are. I was like, we're gonna have to show this on the album. So Junni is a song where there's some variation. We're using the octave properly. It's in Rag Bhairavi. Musically, that song, I wanted it to really be about me on that one, and because I've got to. I need satisfaction when it comes to my work as well. I've got to be happy with what I'm doing. I was like, let me do this one. So I just made the music how I wanted, got him to sing it how I wanted, and amazingly enough, I got my mate Gopri Singera, who's another member of our team, to do the scratching on this track. Funnily enough, when I showed this to Diljit on the phone when he was back in Punjab, this is the wording he said. I showed it him on the phone, and I remember I showed him right to where it breaks down to the flute breakdown in the middle of the song. And then I asked him, I go, what do you reckon? He's like, he's on next level, because he's not heard that type of music before. So it was new for him. And in the end, that's his favourite song on the album. He goes, this is my favourite song. So another song that wasn't going to make it on the album, the song that he wasn't sure which way it was going to go, became his favourite song on the album. So good result, I'd say.
मेरी मौत ते जश्न मना लियो पैग करो ही तुर दे ला लियो बोली चकवी पा दियो जो जावे सीना ठार दी अमरे होए दी लाश ते पायो चुन्नी मटियार दी अमरे होए दी लाश ते पायो चुन्नी मटियार दी
Okay, going on to the song Ranja. Again, this was written by DILJIT again. He actually wrote 7 songs on the album. So yeah, that's why you're going to be hearing his name a lot. So yeah, the song Ranja. This was completely DILJIT's melody. I didn't touch it. He really wanted this. So I was like, okay, I'll let you do this the way you want to do it. So it was a good compromise. Musically, he wanted it to be folk. Again, he didn't realise how folk it was going to be. Funny story. I remember when I had showed him the finished result. He goes, this was on the phone. He goes, "Acha bhaji, fir de rakhna ho cheezaं nahi pauni." I was like, "You told me that you wanted it folk, and now you're saying like." He's like, "All right, okay, yeah, I remember." So it was, even he was shocked to how folk it was, and in the end, that's another one of his favourite tracks on the album. Again, instruments on this song. The introduction mandolin and the solo mandolin piece was done by Sahibji Pammi. Now, this was the reason why I actually got in contact with him. It was this song. I remember the way I had made the pieces on this song was, it was very late night. I was chilling with my mate Simon Berwick, very late night, and I was like, I had to really manage my time. So I was like, look, I said I was going to make all the pieces for this song and that song, so I had 10 minutes. It was very late. I was like, I've got to make something now. I'll just switch the keyboard on, and the solo piece in Ranja and the mandolin, I just played it live. I didn't even. I improvised it. It wasn't a planned piece. I was like, played this, and I was like, what do you think? And Simon was like, sounds good. And I played all the back chords and stuff, and I was like, right, that's gonna make the final cut. And then I mean, talking within seconds, I made the other piece as well, with the flute and the harmonium thing combination. It was made in seconds. So I was like, right, now to bring it to life, I thought I got Ammo to initially play the mandolin on this, and although Ammo's always done my mandolin, when it came to this solo type playing, like doing a larps and stuff, it's not one of his strong points. So I was like, look, I remember seeing Sahibji on a live session for a LARP, playing a LARPs and some stuff that people will never be able to play in their life. He's playing it in one take live, and I was like, this guy's dangerous. I'm gonna ring him. Rang him, really nice guy. I was like, can you do it? He's like, send me the piece. He goes, I'll try. Sent him the piece, and it was not an easy piece to play, the solo piece in the middle. And he's like, okay, came down. And it took a while to memorize the piece, to learn the piece. And he was impressed as well. He's like, good piece, mate. And I was like, thanks. So when we went in to record it, he killed it, smashed it, just went in there and did it. He played it exactly how I played it on the keyboard. It was just exactly the same, but on the real thing. And then I got him to do the chords, banged it out. Magical day that was. And Ammo came down as well. It was good for all of us to meet a new musician. So credit to Bummi Sahibji, brilliant musician. You want to check him out. And the other mandolin pieces during the verse of the song, where all the fill-ins were done by Ammo. The flute was done by a mate of mine called Wiki from Nottingham, flute player. Brilliant job on the flute. And and the harmonium pieces were done by myself, and so was the tabla. And there's the track, Ranja.
ਕਾਲੀ ਰਾਤ ਭਰਦੀ ਓਏ ਉਹ ਓਵੇਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਜਾਨ ਚ ਜੁੜੀ ਸੀ ਫੌਜੀ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੰਨਾਂ ਚ ਪਵਾਈਆਂ ਮੁੰਦਰਾਂ ਓਏ ਉਹ ਰਾਂਝੇ ਦੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਦੀ ਕੁੜੀ ਸੀ ਰਾਂਝੇ ਦੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਦੀ ਕੁੜੀ ਸੀ
Actually, there's an interesting story behind this track. I do want to mention it. Originally, the beat is the only thing that got left out of the original song. So the song Radio wasn't actually called Radio. It was actually called Rokina. Nach Lehne De. Sounds familiar, right? I'll tell you a story. This was going to be our main song on the album. I felt that this would be the main song. And even though we were going to lead with KHARKU, I still felt this was going to be the main song. So he had a song, I forgot the writer's name, called Rokina Nach Lehne De. And you're not gonna believe me, but the original melody of it was Rokina Nach Lehne De. Sounds familiar, right? So I didn't like that melody, and I said to Diljit, okay, I want to change that. I made a really good melody up, completely made it into Pervi, changed the rag, everything, and really happy with the track. So the beat that you hear on Radio originally was a song called Rokina, and this was our main track. And you're talking about 3 weeks before the album was complete, finished. One of my mates, Sonny, told me, he goes, "Suck, there's a track out there called Rokina, Nach Lehne De," and I'm like, "You what?" And he's like, "There's a track. There's a lad from Scotland called Lord Manmeet. He's done a track called Rokina Nach Lehne De." Now I was hunting for this track. I was like, "Oh, the writer must have given it him." But then I found out, no, this was a complete different song. His track, the chorus to Lord Manmeet's track, wasn't even Rokina. That was an extra hook line he'd made. So it was a completely different. It was just coincidental. And when I heard it, I was so gutted. I was gutted. I was like, "That's our main track. Oh wait, what are we gonna do?" I told Diljit. He's like, "We're gonna have to scrap it." And I was like, "Did you give this song?" He's like, "No." And then we checked the lyrics. Yeah, there were different lyrics, and I was like, "What are we gonna do?" It's just such a coincidence because his melody is actually the original melody for the song. So in the end, we got what we're gonna do. We're gonna have to find a song. And last minute, Diljit said, "I've got a song." I mean, I had to compose it on the phone with him. I had to make the melody on the phone. He goes, "Shall I record it in Punjab and send it?" And I wasn't too keen on that, but he did it and sent it me. But then when he came down, he redid the vocal again, and he sang it brilliantly well. And I'm really happy with the end result. That was a straight instrumentation. Tara Chandaji on the Lagoje, and the Tumbi again was done sitting on that sofa on a £5 mic, with the music leaking in. I didn't have headphones on. I didn't know it was going to make the cut. I was drafting pieces. I was it was just rough work, putting ideas together, and it ended up making the final cut. And yeah, that's basically it. And yeah, and it's just a dance floor track. It's more of a Tru-Skool vibe, I'd say. But what's different about this one from what I usually do, although it's got hip hop influence, I played more of the sort of typical Bhangra type chords, and it's a bit more. So I thought the audience might be able to relate a bit more to this. So that it's not only for the Tru-Skool sort of listeners, or like more of a wider audience as well.
Set it off one side.
ਜਦੋਂ ਨੱਚਦੀ ਏ ਜਾਗੋ 'ਚ ਅੱਗ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਸ਼ਿਕਾਗੋ 'ਚ ਉਹ ਜਦੋਂ ਨੱਚਦੀ ਏ ਜਾਗੋ 'ਚ ਅੱਗ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਸ਼ਿਕਾਗੋ 'ਚ ਤੇਰੀ ਬੱਲੇ ਬੱਲੇ ਹੋ ਤੇਰਾ ਚੱਲੇ ਟਾਕ ਸ਼ੋ ਤੇ ਦਿਲ ਉੱਤੇ ਹੋਣੇ ਵਾਲਾ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਮਰਦਾ ਪਿੰਡਾਂ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਵੱਜੇ ਰੇਡੀਓ ਤੇਰੇ ਹੁਸਨ ਦੀ ਚਰਚਾ ਕਰਦਾ ਪਿੰਡਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੱਜੇ ਰੇਡੀਓ ਤੇਰੇ ਹੁਸਨ ਦੀ ਚਰਚਾ ਕਰਦਾ ਪਿੰਡਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੱਜੇ ਰੇਡੀਓ
Okay, talking about the song iPhone, written by Diljit again. This is another song that originally we had a song called Munde Sardar on there, different melody, and the music was made to the song Munde Sardar actually. and I just wasn't feeling the song, not lyrically, just the melody, the tune. I wasn't feeling it, and I phoned Diljit. I go, we're gonna have to get rid of this one. So he searched for it was quite a mission finding the lyrics, and it went down to the wire again. I mean, the same week he found radio, it was the same week he found his iPhone song. I think he made the hook line himself actually while he was in a hotel room. He just thought of the iPhone one and gave it to Veeth to write. And again, that was, I had to compose it on the phone, because we had no choice, and it was composed on the phone. And those vocals, I didn't even have a guide. He came down and sang it here, so it was literally down to the wire. Mandolin was done by Ammo. This was all on the last minute. This was done, and this track actually, this went right down to the wire. I mean, I was doing this on the day of mastering, the morning of mastering. Really had problems with the mix because I wanted to try something different in terms of with the beat, with the drums and stuff, using this kind of rim shot type of beat. So I'm really struggled, and I'm glad Lucky from Chaos, he popped in one time, and I was like, Lucky, what do you reckon? So he got involved with the mix, and we tried a few different types. In the end, it came through right down to the wire, but even that Dumbi piece that I played on there was like, it was quite a tricky one to play. I found it tricky to play, so I kept recording it and deleting it, and then it's like, I'll play it next week. Then it was like literally down to the last day or something, I had to play it again, put it in. And the arrangements on this track were quite tricky as well. Because I was very tired by this point, so I was like doing it 3, 4, 5 in the morning, So in the end, it's had a good response. About a lot of messages about that track from India as well. So I'm glad it's had a good response. Okay, so we've covered the album Back to Basics by DILJIT DOSANJH, music by Tru-Skool, myself. It was an album that took 4 months to make, May, June, July, August. I worked 7 days a week, long hours. I mean, sometimes I was starting 8, 9 in the morning, sometimes working till 5, 6 in the morning. Sometimes I think I even worked till 7, and I got up at like 9, having 2 hours sleep on some days. And that was because there was so much to fit in a small amount of time, because I've never done an album this quickly in my entire life. And so it was a hard experience. I locked myself in this house, in this studio. I think the only time, ironically, I went out the house was once or twice. Maybe went to Nando's on a Saturday and then straight back here. And ironically, I went to watch Jack and Juliet, which was Diljit's film, and he told me to go and check it out. And I've never watched a Punjabi film in a cinema in my life. It was the first time I've ever watched a Punjabi film, and it was really weird seeing that. So that was nice timing as well as the album was getting made. To summarise it, I'd say I pushed myself very hard, emotionally, physically. There was blood, sweat, and sometimes I almost did break into tears, just out of exhaustion, and stress making this album, because I wanted Diljit to be happy with it, and I wanted my listeners who listen to Tru-Skool to be happy too. And so I feel it's had a good response, and I just want to say a massive thank you to my wife, Jag, and to our team, Chaos Productions, and TL, and to my very close friends. And even my mum and dad liked this album for a change, which is a shocker. So I'm really glad about that. Working with Diljit, I'd say the best thing about him, not only was he very compromising, easy to work with, but he's a very nice guy. For me, that was one of the best things about working with Diljit, because whatever perception I had of him through previous tracks, he's nothing like what he is in real life. He's a very quiet guy, keeps himself to himself. You know, I found out so much. I found out he plays a tabla as well. You know, he's got some hidden talents. He used to be a tabla player. Used to be a kirtani. Very spiritual guy. Never backchats no one. You know, he's a nice guy. He's a genuinely nice guy. So he was very nice to work with, and you know, he put his heart into this album. He believed in me. You know, it was a big step for him to step away from his India producers and come and work with somebody from another country. And you know, he had faith, and you know, it was a magical experience. And I'm glad it's had the response that it's had, and I can't thank not the fans, they're not the fans, they're supporters enough, and it's all down to God. And keep supporting. Thank you very much.